Hi and welcome to another daily devotion. So how did you go yesterday? Did you read through Genesis chapter 1 about how God created in the 6 literal days, or are you not sure whether they were 6 literal days or millions or billions of years? Well, just let me bring something out here. I'm going to read Genesis chapter 1 and verse 5, and it says, God called the light day and the darkness he called night. So the evening and the morning were the first day. Interesting how it says how the evening and the morning were the first day. And this is what it says in the commentary in regards to this. It says that the evening and the morning, the Hebrews began each new day at sunset. Isn't that interesting? And it goes on to say that this time designation, along with numbering of the days and the Sabbath rest on day 7, shows that the author views creation as happening in the course of 6 consecutive 24-hour periods, followed by a 7th of divine rest. Now I find that very, very interesting, as well extremely informative. And it is very important for us to believe that God did create in 6 literal days. You know, this theory of evolution trying to creep into the Word of God, and theologians trying to make it fit in to the Word of God, and we know that it doesn't belong in there at all. I just want to bring something out here that I read some time ago, something that Ken Ham from Answers in Genesis made mention of, and it's in relation to the word day. And so let us have a look at the word day in relation to the Genesis account of creation. And you know, first, the word day can have varied meanings depending on its application. And so the example given was simply this. Back in my father's day, it took 10 days to drive across the Australian outback during the day. You may not see a great deal in that, but have a listen to it this way. Back in my father's day, or back in my father's time, it took 10 days, or literal ordinary days, to drive across the outback during the day, during the daylight portion, or that daylight portion of the day. And so there are different varied meanings for the word day. And we see here that in the account of creation, that the 6 literal days has a mention there of evening and morning, which is categorizing it as a literal day, pointing to a 24-hour day. And I don't know how they get millions and billions of years out of it. I think the only logical explanation for this is simply that one was taught wrong from the beginning and finds it very hard to lay down false teaching, and so therefore wanting to implement it somewhere in the Word of God. And we know that we can't do that. The Word of God is what it is, and it means what it says, and says what it means. And so, you know, we need to be, as Christians, absolutely convinced that God did create, and God was able to create in 6 literal days. After all, He is God. And so join me tomorrow, because we're going to talk a little bit more about 6 literal days. We're going to have a look at it from another angle. Anyway, be blessed, and I will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.